The W, the O, the R, the K. The W, the O, the R, the K. Look yourself in the face. Look yourself in the mirror. Ask yourself, are you giving 120% every day? Every play? Give me 120 or don't give me nothing at all. The guy you competing against, you haven't outworked him. You've not outworked the person next to you. You've not out-hustled them. You've not out-grind them. You've not outdone them. You're not locked in. Bring all your passion. Bring heart. Every single game, every single play. Put forth 120% or don't ask nobody to do nothing to you. The W, the O, the R, the K. The W, the O.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? TGIF. I hope everybody's locked in on this Friday, man. What a crazy, crazy couple days it's been, man. You know, we got tariff talk, we got recession talk, we got all kinds of stuff going on out here in these markets. Oh man, what the hell is going on? Where are we going? Is it over? Is altcoin season over? Is Bitcoin done here? You know, is stock market crashing? Are we going into recession? What the hell is going on? Got tariff talks here, tariff talks there, retaliation talks here, retaliation talks there. What in the hell is going on around here? Boy, oh boy, we got a lot to get into today because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, man. The world has gone mad. The world has gone mad. But we talked about this. We kind of knew that this was coming. We looked at this. We talked about this. We you know, kept telling you guys have money on the sidelines for this. It's one of these things, man, where there's nothing you can do about it but be in the market and play the market for what it is, right? That's all you can do. And you know, sit back and see where the hell this ride takes us. But you know, it's not looking sweet for a quick recovery. I can tell you that it's not looking sweet. We'll be here for a little while. But the thing about it is, we're going to talk about, is that a bad thing, right? Is that a bad thing that we're here for a little while and we're kind of doing what we do and stuff like that? Like, I don't know. You know, I guess it's a 50-50 situation. Depends on how you look at it, right? You can either look at it as a complete shit show, or you can look at it and go, how am I going to take advantage of this market, right? I tend to look at it and go, all right, how am I going to take advantage of this market? I know what's coming. I know what I hold, and I know what the hell is going on out here with this manipulation. Get into a little bit of my takes on that, about why things are happening the way that they're happening, and we'll get into that. But good morning, Junior. Good morning. The Junior's in the building. What's up? What's up? Yeah, hit that like button, man. You know, hit that like button, y'all. Selmo, what's up? Good morning. Am I tariffed out yet? Hell no, man. I mean, I'm tariffed out, yeah, but do I think it's over yet? Nah, man. We're far from settling this thing up, man. We're far from squaring this thing up, right? But yo, it's Friday, man. It's Friday. It's and we got to expect these markets to kind of even go down a little bit further. I expect the markets to go down a little bit further, to tell you guys the truth. I don't think that, you know, some people are saying that we found bottom. I don't think that we found the bottom. I think that we find ourselves in a situation where it's probably going to get a little bit worse before it gets better. But I think there's a strategy behind all this. Now, is it a failed strategy? We're going to find out. We got no other choice but to sit back and find out, right? Anyway, and we will. But let's go ahead. Let's get into some of what is going on in these markets. Asian markets, absolutely tanking. European markets woke up this morning, started trading, absolutely tanking. United States pre-markets, absolutely tanking again. But interesting things going on over here. Let's look at the something we don't really get into a lot, but I look at every morning is the FX charts, the United States dollar, basically. How is it trading with everybody else? And you can see that the United States dollar is continuing to its lose its basically dominance here, right? So basically the dollar's worth less and less and less, every second that goes by of the day here, right? Except for over here in Canada, trading pretty strong over there, but we usually do. But BTC may get to 70K. It very well may. It very well may. Somo, it very well may here, because I don't think that we've seen the end of what's going on. But the United States dollar continues to weaken. I think that this is the plan, is to weaken the dollar, because I think the dollar needs to be weakened in order for trade to continue to, in order for people to be able, trade to be able to go and be strong, and for people, to actually be able to afford things, right? So when you look at it, what does a weakened dollar mean, right? Well, you think about if you live in another country, if the United States dollar is dominant over yours, just think about trading crypto. Everything's traded in USDT, right? So on exchanges, right? So if you look at that's pegged to the dollar, right? So if you're spending $10 of your money, you might only be getting $7 of crypto, right? So the United States dollar was dominant for a long time, and I think that you have to bring the dollar down, the dominance of the dollar. I think the world knows that, and I think that's kind of what's at play right now. And you see the trade war tensions here escalate globally as U.S. dollar plunges amidst chaos. It's the United States dollar is just absolutely tanking right now. Is that good for the United States? Absolutely not. It's absolutely terrible. Is it good for the rest of the world? Yeah, because their currency gets stronger, while ours gets weaker. So they have more buying power, and we have less buying power here. So it's not good for the United States. It's good for other parts of the world, but definitely not good for the United States. So that's something to watch. That's a big issue that we're going to see going forward. But also, historically, when the dollar has plummeted, crypto has moved to the upside, right? Will that happen this time? Probably not. I think there's too many other micro, macro things going on in the world for that to happen. But it does give you a little bit of hope, right? And right here, you're going to see more of this. And this is why the markets are down so far. Today, you're going to see a lot more of this. China retaliates with 34% retaliation, basically export tax, which is basically a tariff at 34% to the United States. You're going to see more and more countries come out, and they're going to put their tariffs on the United States, which in turn is going to even pump this even worse, right? The United States dollar is going to plummet even worse, right? So are we in the midst of a recession? That's the question, right? That's the question that everybody's talking about. That's the question that everybody that's out there in the news all the time right now over the past couple of days. Are we headed for a recession? Chances are we probably are. If we continue with the tariff wars, we probably are. What will that recession look like? How long will it happen? I don't know. The last recession we were in was COVID, and it was a short-lived recession, obviously, because of the situation. So what's going to happen is the Fed at some point is going to be forced to turn on these money printers. That's what's going to happen here. And the Trump administration is basically forcing the Fed's hand at this point to turn on these money printers. It probably by Q2, into Q2, you're going to start seeing these money printers turn on. You're going to start seeing rate cuts come into effect because they have no other choice, right? They're gonna have no other choice. They're gonna be forced to do this, right? What does that look like? How long does it go? And that's the question. But the money printers will have to be turned back on because with the lack of trade, right? You see the bond market sitting over here, and this is the debt, right? This is your debt. That's all sitting in here, right? So who buys the United States debt? Well, we talked about this before on this channel a lot. Who buys the United States debt? A lot of other countries come in and buy these bonds and buy up the United States debt. Well, guess what? They're probably going to be not buying up the United States debt anymore, which forces the Fed to come in and buy up this debt. And that's where the money printers are going to have to get turned back on. They're going to have to get turned back on to buy this debt up. It's going to weaken the dollar even further, which is probably going to push us to a recession. And that's what the market's pricing in right now. You see right now here, you see the Dow absolutely getting hammered. The S&P absolutely getting dominated over the past 2 days, and the NASDAQ absolutely getting crushed. Oil's getting crushed, and OPEC, which is basically the Saudis, is getting ready to pump more oil into the market, which is a good and bad thing. It's a good thing for prices. It's a bad thing because they can shut it off at any time, and you'll see prices skyrocket, right? The U.S. 10-year, which is basically, your 10-year loans, which is basically, what the Fed looks at, absolutely getting crushed right now. So here, this is the issue, right? There's issues all the way across the board. There's no green line. There's no silver lining here, right? This is bad, 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 and worse, right? So the stock market's really pricing in a recession is what's happening right now. And these trade wars are going to force this recession. Could force this recession. I'm going to say could, but make no doubt, my assumption is that we're headed there. It's just for a matter of how long. And these trade wars will force this, and it's going to force probably 3 to 4 rate cuts this year, and it's going to force the Fed to start printing money, all of which is going to weaken the dollar. That being said, remember what I said to start. As the dollar weakens, crypto usually gets stronger. So we'll see if that theory plays out moving forward. And it's going to force the banks to do something a little bit different because they're going to be losing a lot of money, right? Because they're basically going to have to come in here and buy a lot of this debt as well. So the banks are going to have to do something a little different. So does that push ISO even quicker, right? Does that push the ISO situation even quicker because of the United States dollar being even more weak than what it should be, right? So that's what we got going on from a overall macro perspective, right? It's gone from bad to worse, and it'll probably get worse before it gets better, right? And what does that mean for us as investors? That means that if you have a long-term vision, and if you're just not in it for a quick 30-day move, then guess what? You're going to have a ton of opportunity on the stock market and the crypto market to come in here and really, really start to build your portfolios up for when we start to climb out of this recession. Because make no doubt, when you go into a recession, you also have to come out of a recession, right? And coming out of that recession is where you could possibly see some massive gains, right? If you're in this thing for the long haul. If you're not in this thing for the long haul, you're probably going to get wrecked. Just to be honest, you're probably going to get wrecked. So you got to have a long-term vision of what's going on. You have to know what you hold. You have to believe in what you hold, and you have to believe in the process. And I think the process really is moving everything towards the blockchain for governments, right? You got the stablecoin bill, which is getting ready to pass through the House. I mean, the Senate getting ready to go to the House. You have some cryptocurrency regulation that's going to put some guardrails up. That's getting ready to go through the House, getting ready to go to the Senate, getting ready to go through the House, getting ready to hit the president's desk within a matter of weeks here, which is going to put some guardrails up for crypto, which is going to allow this process to continue. So I think crypto is going to play a bigger role in coming out of this recession than it ever has before. I think you'll see a lot of this stuff move to the blockchain, and it's on and popping right now, baby. So if you ain't locked in now, oh, good luck. So what we got going on right now, Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index falls to 25. Definitely still in fear. No surprise here. We've been in fear for a while. Really no surprise. Been sitting here for a while. Altcoin season dropped from 17 to 14 out of 100, which definitely is no surprise either. You look at this and we just keep kicking altcoin season backwards, right? Because of what's going on. You'll probably see this fall probably to about 10 here pretty soon, because we're nowhere near altcoin season. just straight up, you're nowhere near it. You got the market cap sitting at $2.667 trillion, bleeding money out of here by the billions. But I'm not worried about it. Ken, he lunch, baby. Let's go. Good early afternoon to you, brother. How are you? But yeah, the market cap is bleeding money out of here right now by the billions. But again, are you scared? I'm not scared. It's not over. We are where we are, and we can only trade in the markets that are in front of our face, right? That's all we can do. You got the cryptocurrency ETFs right now, absolutely getting dominated. Bitcoin ETFs total 99 million. Call it even 100 million coming out. It's 99.8 million. Call it 100 million. 100 million coming out. Ethereum ETFs, you're looking at 3.6 million coming out of there over the past 24 hours. Them are leaking, which is one of the reasons why I said on Wednesday, you don't want XRP to release its ETF right now. It's the worst market for them to release an ETF. You want the Solana ETFs, you want the Solana ETFs, you want the XRP ETFs, you want the HBAR ETFs, the Litecoin ETFs. You want all of them to hold off, because if they were to be released in this type of market right now, they would absolutely fail until the market turns around. They would get crushed in this type of market. And to further drive that point home, we'll go ahead and we'll look at CoreWeave again, right? And this project was launched a couple days ago, backed by NVIDIA, one of the richest companies in the world. You look at this thing launched at $40. I was in this, sold off when it went on a run. But when you look at this thing, let's go to the 5-day, which is the all chart here, right? Because it's less than 5 days old. When you look at how this thing launched, it launched at $40, closed yesterday at 53.81, 53.80. My bad. You look at where it's going to open right now; it's 49.51, right? It took NVIDIA and a bunch of other big, huge tech companies to pump this thing up to where they needed it. They wanted to release this thing at $51 to give them guys enough capital to do what they got to do over here. So they needed to pump this thing up to $51, which they did. Then there was the sell-off, right? And now, because the markets are where they are, there's even a bigger sell-off, right? You look at 49.51, right? It's going to open at 49.51, which is probably going to go to $45 today. It's probably going to go down even further. So if an XRP ETF or anybody else was launched in this type of environment, they don't have the backing of a NVIDIA or anybody like that to come in and really, you got Ripple and everybody else really to pump the chart. But I mean, you're talking about Nvidia backing this company with trillions and trillions of dollars, and other big tech companies coming in to back that company as well, and it still can't hold on in this market. So you don't want an ETF launch right now. I know everybody wants it, everybody's waiting for it, everybody is pumped up about it. It's not a good environment for that. It's better to hold on. You get the Bitcoin dominant sitting at 6201. I mean 62% right now. So when you look at 62%, this is another 1% increase from when we streamed on Wednesday, right? So again, to move Bitcoin's to move the Bitcoin dominance up 1% means that people are literally running to safety over here, right? In Bitcoin. So it's not enough though. It's not enough to hold the price. You can see it this morning. Even though people are parking their money in Bitcoin, the Bitcoin's leaking more than it's gaining, right? Ethereum dominant sitting at 8.1%. Ticked up just a little bit, which is good for Ethereum, but can they hold on, right? Ethereum hasn't shown itself to be this big, huge, strong project that can hold the price, hold the line, right? And it doesn't help when you have the Ethereum Foundation dumping on you all the time either. It doesn't help hold the price. So we'll see where Ethereum goes. So that's kind of big market overviews. What do we got going on when it comes to the blockchain in general? Let's see. Hold on a second. Let's see if we can get this thing moving. Sometimes this thing acts funny. But see what we got on chain here. Sometimes this thing just acts funny. But I didn't want that crap. All right, here we go. So what we got? We got Ethereum. Ethereum's actually doing well. $2.4 billion in 24-hour trading volume. Definitely a big increase for that. Solana is actually coming back a little bit on chain as well, sitting at plus 18%. And anytime you're on a plus side of this market, you're usually pretty good. So Solana's got some good volume coming back up to its normal levels, right around 1.7 billion. We'll see where this thing performs today, because I think the market's coming down today. BSC, a negative 33%, so they're losing a little bit of volume over there, but it's $1.12 billion in 24-hour trading volume. Look at Base. We dogged Base, because it went down to the shitter, right down to 11 on Wednesday, but it's starting to come back up, plus 47.1% in trading volume, back up to around that $800 million level. You see if we can hold on. But Arbitrum, keep telling you guys to watch out for Arbitrum. Arbitrum continues to tick up here, and continues to hold on in the top 5. It's up another 15% in 24-hour trading volume, sitting at 713 million right now. This one's been up in the top 5 for a while. Sui at number 6 right now, plus 69%, up to 306 million in 24-hour trading volume. And watch out for Polygon, guys. Polygon continues to creep up and creep up and creep up these trading blocks here. So Polygon could be setting itself up to make a move here. We'll see. But it definitely its volume continues to move up. Pulse Chain just doing this thing, minus 44% in volume, 20 million. Keep an eye on that and see what's going to happen with Richard Heart as this situation that he's in with the government continues to be an issue for Hex. See what we got going on over here price action wise, right? We got this grass token over here that popped up in the top 100. I've been sitting at $1.86 right now. Definitely made a nice positive move to the upside. Atom, I don't know who's in Atom, but Atom has actually performed really, really well during this whole downturn. If you look at its chart, this is a daily chart. You look at the weekly chart. It's actually been on a huge run. Daily chart on a nice little run, starting to come down a little bit, but actually has been one of the projects been to the positive side the whole time that this market has been down. So if you're an Atom, congratulations. Grass token, like I said, creeped up into the top 100, doing this thing. But you notice overall on the day, this thing's pretty red. Pie, whew, boy, Selmo, what we gonna do? What we gonna do about this? Selmo Jr., what we gonna do about this? You know, pie's down to 52 cents. 52 cents. What we gonna do about this, man? I mean, it's big drop. Big drop, baby. Big drop here from where we were. We're up here 83 cents. This thing just a week ago. This thing has been beat down. Where and with any new chain that comes out and any new project that comes out and they take a big fall like that, you're gonna find out where the bottom is, right? And that's kind of the situation that Pie's got itself in right now. Go find out where the bottom is. And keep mining. That's all you can do, Junior. Hey, that's free token. I'm still mining. Yeah. All right. Keep mining, baby. Like my miner's still on from time, and then every once in a while I'll forget to reset it, but then I reset it and then we're all good. But that's all you can do, really. But yo, this thing is getting beat up right now. But the good thing about it, like I said, we always going to look at the positive here. Is with this new project, you're going to find the bottom of Pie. You're going to find out where that bottom is, because the bottom's going to come in. Is that bottom at 50 cents? Is that bottom at 30 cents? Is that bottom, set in already? You're going to find out, and that's going to be a good gauge to how you move forward with that project, right? So we will look at Pax Gold, because a lot of people are rushing to gold. Don't sleep on this particular project right here. The Pax Gold is, this is the gold backed crypto, right? And you look at it right now, it's sitting at $3,140, right? But you buy fractions of this, right? Just like you buy fractions of gold. But look at the move to the upside. We talk about people running for safety in Bitcoin, but a lot of people are running to safety in this Pax Gold. I mean, you look at it, it was as high as $3,108 here just a week ago. Starts to come down a little bit, but you start to see over the past couple of days, it really start to move to the upside again. So one of these that I really, really got my eye on, because if you're buying gold and people are running to safety in gold, why not just run the safety in Pax Gold? It's pegged to gold, right? So why not? It's a project a lot of people don't cover, a lot of people don't talk about. It's one of the ones that we don't even talk about a lot. We don't talk about it enough here, but definitely a good project. Right. That's what I'm saying, Selma. Let's find the bottom, right? Let's find the bottom. It's a brand new project as far as Pi goes. Anything that's been out for less than, 5 to 6 months, I consider a brand new project. They're just getting their legs underneath them. So, let's find out where the bottom is, right? Let's find out. And because from there, you can start to make moves, right? You can start to figure out what your moves are, whether you're mining it, whether you're buying it, whether you're longing it, whether you're shorting it, doing whatever you're doing with it, you can really start to, play it out. But, until you know where the bottom is, until you know where the bottom's set, you're just kind of going on a hope and a prayer, right? But let's see where the bottom is of Pi is set, and see upwards from there. Bitcoin's getting absolutely beat down this morning. When I woke up, Bitcoin was at 83, trying to touch 84,000. It's coming down to 81.7 right now. Just absolutely getting just torched right now. And so no surprise, right? When you get China over here with reciprocal tariffs, and more countries are going to follow, you go okay. You're going to be in a negative environment. Look at Ethereum. Ethereum this morning was at 1800. Was at right around 1800. Come down to 1,760, $68 right now. So definitely markets on its way down. Look at XRP sitting at 202 right now. Um, and interesting, we talked about XRP on Wednesday, and I said to you guys, could get down to this weekly low of 190, right? It was 190 over up in here. Could get down there. We didn't quite get down there with the tariff talk when the tariffs were rolled out. I think 193. 193 was probably the low. But the interesting thing about XRP is, I'm going to tell you right now, we got to go back, right? Go back a little bit, and 50 cents was a level, right? Every time it dropped below 50 cents, the whales would step in, they'd buy it back up to 50 cents, and the price would kind of stabilize itself there. I do believe that $2 is that new level. I think that the whales step in at $2 and they start buying it back up to $2. So anytime you get around this $2 mark, it's probably a good entry, because I think the whales will always, I don't want to say always, but more than likely they're going to step in when it drops below $2, and they're going to buy that thing back up. So just understand that there's levels to this thing, and right now the whales have a $2 level on XRP. Yeah, China imposed a 34% tariff. That's what we were talking about earlier. And this is what's tanking the market. China came back with a 34% tariff. But the thing about it is China's just the first of many. There's going to be other countries that come back with tariffs on the United States, which is going to literally cause this trade war, right? There's 111 people in here right now, guys. So 112. Go ahead and smash that like button, smash that heart button if you're over there on Twitter. Go ahead and share this thing out. Let people know that we're here this morning. Let people know that we're up and doing our thing. Elmo, good morning, brother. Good morning, my brother. Targeted $2. Yeah, XRP. I do believe the whales. It was 50 cents, right? Every time XRP would drop below 50 cents, the whales would step in, they would buy it up, right? $2 is that level right now, right? $2 is the level right now where they say to you, where the whales step into XRP and go, all right, we're gonna buy this up. It dropped below $2. So, if you can get, excuse me for a minute, if you can get XRP at just under $2, the whales are going to come in and buy it back up. Damn, GG killing it. Thanks, brother. Junior the man. Glenn's the black belt. So I think like right here, right? I think that when you look at XRP, anytime you can get in at this level right now, it's a good level, because that's where the whales step in. And when the whales step in, you want to be where the whales are, right? You want to be at the levels where the whales are. You want to be at the levels to say, all right, the whales are buying here. I want to buy here too, because I know they're going to hold the floor, or at least try to hold the floor, right? So that's a good price point right there. But Bitcoin continues to fall this morning. Let's see if it can regain this, right? 81.5 is probably the level right there where if Bitcoin drops below 81.5, you're probably going to see it go down into the 70s. I think that's probably the medium average right now of Bitcoin over the past, over their downtrend here is right around 81.5. If it goes to 81.5, it gets below 81.5, you're headed down to probably 77. He killing the Kool-Aid. Killing the Kool-Aid. Always follow. Always follow Moby. Yo, always follow it. Always follow big money. Always. But yeah, Bitcoin's back up to 82. Let's see if it can hold on to 81.5. If it gets anywhere below 81.5, Bitcoin's in trouble. It's going down to 77. Ethereum's starting to tick up a little bit, just a tiny bit as well. XRP, it's hovering right now. It's hovering. It's 202. So let's see where this market goes. Solana, Solana's struggling a little bit, just a little bit, from where it was yesterday. But this market's going to get worse. I'm telling you guys right now, this market's going to go down. Reciprocal tariffs. Other countries putting more tariffs out there. You now created a trade war, which in turn we're on our way to a recession, right? And unfortunately, we're on our way to a recession. And I do believe that. I do believe that we're on our way there. Just like I said, they're going to turn these money printers back on. They have no other choice. They have no other choice. Yo, man, you got all the whales, man. Even I'm a baby shark, baby. I'm a baby shark, man. But you look at Chainlink 2 coming down here underneath this $13 mark, sitting at $12.49, right? So, Chainlink continues to fall backwards, right? This is a common theme right here, right? Stellar is trying its best. XLM is trying its best to hold on to 25 cents. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if it can hang on there. Not necessarily sure it's gonna hang on. Not sure that XLM is gonna be able to hang on to that 25 cent mark. We'll see. Avalanche underneath $18 at $17.75. I think Avalanche is a great project. Sway 214. Can Sway hang on to its $2 mark? We're gonna find out, and that's gonna get real interesting. That's gonna get really, really interesting with that project. Most Americans don't buy your Aussie beef before. Yo, man, it's getting crazy out here, man. XRP to 1, man. It is getting absolutely nuts, man. Like, this is crazy, man. Like, these trade wars, everything. It's nuts, man. We're pushing the world is pushing itself into a recession. Literally, we're on our way. The money printers are going to get turned back on. And you're going to look at about 4 rate cuts in the United States. They're going to have to turn the money printers on to pay for the bonds. And when that happens, the dollar's already getting dominated. The dollar is already getting dominated. It's going to make your dollar worth even less. So this situation is going to go from bad to worse to even worse, and then we'll come out of it. But you have to buy into this. This is just DG's opinion. Don't come at me, a month later going, oh my God, it was a 30-day. I've been in this thing for 30 days, and you told me to buy into this and buy into this recession, and my bags are still down. It's going to be a little bit, but if you continually buy in, every time you go into a recession, you have to come out of the recession. And coming out of the recession, you usually come out stronger than when you went in. What the fuck is wrong with people? I'll pay. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with people, Ken. I don't know. Tariffs are hostage taxes and taxes on the people. They're literally taxes on the people, and it's ultimately you look at Nike. All right, Junior man, have a good one. Go clock in, brother. Go clock in. Yo, smash that like button on your way out. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. We have 117 people in here. Hit that follow button if you're over there on X. Hit that subscribe button if you're over here on YouTube. Hit that like button. Do all that good stuff. But tariffs are a tax on the people, right? That's exactly what they are. Whether you're in or out, whether they're tariffs in or whether tariffs out, you're taxing the people on either side of that. I'll give you a prime example of Nike. Nike's stock absolutely tumbled yesterday. Why did it tumble yesterday? Well, because all of their shoes are made over in China with the tariffs. They're when you look at that, like what's going to happen with that? Well, your Nike sneakers are about to go up about 30% to bring them over here. Nike's not going to take that on the chin and just say, yo, I'm going to go ahead and take 30% of my profits, and I'm just going to take that on the chin, and I'm not going to pass that on the consumer. You're going to pass that on the consumer. So who are you really hurting, right? I mean, and that being said, let's be honest. Trade wasn't fair and equitable across the board, right? People were taking advantage of the NAFTA trade, of the NAFTA deal, things like that. But there's ways to deal with this outside of just putting a blanket tariff on people and putting blanket tariffs on people and just wrecking the economy. That's just my opinion, right? Like you could do better than just wreck the economy. There's better ways to negotiate. There's better ways to do these things. And that's just not what's happening right now. And ultimately, it's going to cause a recession. I know 78 cents right now, obviously coming down. Nothing but red over there. But I believe in it. This project's backed by BlackRock. So I think you're going to be just fine there. And BlackRock is basically running crypto right now. So like, what they do will move the market. What BlackRock does will move the market. So it's the same song and dance all the way up this chart. It's all red. It's all red, right? It is what it is, and we can only trade in the market that we're in. And I'm telling you guys, like, I'm buying into this market. I buy into fear. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to continue to buy into this fear. But the dollar is just getting dominated right now. So the investors' demand for XRP falls as the bulls make a stake right here at $2. We'll trade to defend the $2 mark, and I do believe that the mark is $2, right? So I do believe that the whales will defend this $2 mark, right? I do believe, yes, we may dip below it. XRP TP 1.6, yeah, okay. To 1.6, you think XRP to $1.60? I don't know. I think that the whales will do their best to defend this $2 mark, right? I think that they'll do their best. Now, whales can get exhausted as well, right? If the market continues to fall, whales can get exhausted, right? And we've seen this with XRP before. They tried to hold the 50 cent mark. They got for a long time. They got exhausted and went back down to 45 cents. A new group of investors came in. They pumped it back up to 50 cents, and then the whales took action again, right? So I do believe that they're going to do their best to try to defend this $2 mark, but it's going to be tough because the market is in a nasty downtrend. So it's going to be tough to defend that mark. But I am buying anything around $2 and under because I do think that they're going to do their best to try to hold it. NVIDIA is actually exempt from these tariffs. You do realize that, right? So NVIDIA is exempt from these tariffs. They got an exemption. So I expect Nvidia to pump during this downtrend because they're completely unaffected by these tariffs. Binance is predicting a $600 XRP price. I think that this weakening of the dollar and this weakening of the dollar and this weakening of the financial system, I think that we are going to get a complete financial system reset, and I think blockchain is going to be at the forefront of that. And when it comes to banking and banking institutions, I think that the ISO tokens, and this is why I think the ISO tokens are going to take off, is because I think the ISO tokens are going to play front and center on that. And I think XRP has positioned itself to be one of, if not the leader in that. You didn't know that? Yeah, they got an exemption because as much as the United States isn't set up to produce the chips that they need, so they have to produce them over there where they are, with the agreement that NVIDIA will start to build a plant here in the United States to produce the chips, because NVIDIA is a United States company. They're going to build a plant here to start producing the chips, but they can't do it in the time frame of the tariffs. So Trump gave them an exemption, and if he didn't give them an exemption, the AI revolution for the United States would have taken a big step backwards. So, it makes sense. But I do expect NVIDIA to pump when everybody else is kind of going down. Apple got freaking hammered. Apple had its worst day yesterday, for a long time. Apple got dusted yesterday. And here's another article talking about, is altcoin season coming? Yeah, it's coming. It's gonna come. It's gonna be here. It's just a matter of when, right? So, right, altcoin season does hinge on the Bitcoin dominance, right? And this is kind of what they're talking about here. And when you go over here and you go to this analyst, who I tend to like, he seems to think that altcoin season is going to start when the Bitcoin dominance hits around 71%. Well, when you come back over here and you look at where we're at right now, we're at 61%, right? So another 10%, 62%. Now look at that. We went up another percent just as we were talking in Bitcoin dominance. So when we look at 62% of Bitcoin dominance, in this analyst is predicting at 71% based on this chart that altcoin season will start. You're 9% away, right? So, not too bad, right? Now, so let's look at that 71% and let's see if they're right. But yeah, definitely it does hinge on this Bitcoin dominance. You have to get people to come out of Bitcoin and filter that money into the altcoins for altcoin season to start. That's not going to happen in this environment right now. People are not moving their money out of Bitcoin into altcoins in this environment. Look at this. This is absolute slaughterhouse right now. Why would you come out of Bitcoin? I mean, you got HBAR sitting at 15 cents right now. 15.8. 15 cents. I mean, this is slaughterhouse right now. You don't sell your Bitcoin to put it into these markets. You're going to want to ride this out. You're going to want to ride this out in Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. I wouldn't even ride it out in Solana. Cardano. Tron's been holding this 23 cent mark for a long time. Them are the ones I would ride this out in, right? When you look at it, and I talk about Ethereum all the time, but I mean, if you're going to park some money somewhere, you're damn sure not going to want to be parking it down here. If you don't have money to sit on for a long time, you're damn sure not going to want to be parking it down here in this environment. If you can sit on it, then yeah, park it there. Buy into this. I'm buying into this because I can sit on my money for a while and I can DCA in. But if you can't do that, don't sit on that. I agree, Selma. This reset that we're in right now, I do believe, is the start of the transfer of wealth. the great transfer of wealth. And I think you're starting to see it happen. And you're going to see it happen with a lot of these ISO coins. I think XRP, XLM, Chainlink, Stellar. I mean, Chainlink, Quant, XDC, name it, Algorand, insert the ISO coin, HBAR. I think all of these tokens are what is going to set everybody apart. I think that that's going to be the transformation. That's going to be where the wealth is made, and obviously Bitcoin, right? I mean, we talk about the ISO coins, but Bitcoin will continue to be the leader of all of this, right? Bitcoin will continue to be the top dog in this race. Yeah, Tesla did get popped yesterday too. XRP. Tesla did get popped yesterday too. You're right. So yeah, Tesla got popped yesterday. Elon's taking a lot of heat right now. Scottish, there you are. There's my guy. What's going on, Scottish? Good morning. We just talked about Paxos, Paxos G, and parking some money in this gold in this gold crypto right here, Paxos G. It's pegged to gold. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna park again, you see people over here on the stock market. They're running to safety. They're buying gold, right? If you're in the crypto market, where do you run? You run to Bitcoin. You run probably to Paxos Gold, right? It continues to move. It continues to move to the upside, man. But what's up, Scottish? What is up, my brother? So we can't get out of here without talking about the total 3 for a minute, and where we're headed with this total 3 and what we're looking like. I mean, you guys know it's going to be down, right? But where are we at? Does it look like it's coming back up? Probably not, right? We can pretty much get into that without even looking at the chart, right? The total 3 is definitely getting pretty much dominated right now. Back on a downtrend. I got to redraw this tunnel, but back on a downtrend, sitting at 748 billion right now. Getting beat up a little bit. The RSI says, guess what? It's going to continue to go down, right? That's what the RSI says. Pepe was an interesting one this morning as well, because me, I wake up early, y'all. I'm up early. I'm trading with the Asian markets long before we come on here, right? I'm trading with the Asian in the opening of the European market. So before the United States market's really open. But you look at Pepe sitting at the 6.8 mark. When I woke up this morning, it was pushing this 507, and it looked like it wanted to push up to 5071. And then the China news, everybody started to wake up to the China news and the China tariffs, and really started to bring the market down, right? It really started to bring the market down, which Pepe kind of suffered that too, down to 5068. But when you look at where your boy Dr. Oz, your boy Dr. Oz was confirmed. Oh boy, that's dangerous move right there. But when you look at Pepe, it's actually held on pretty good, to tell you the truth. So far, let's just talk about it so far from where it is right now. It really hasn't got down to the 505 mark that we thought it was going to get to, 5055. So far, it's actually hung on from a price action standpoint pretty well. Yeah, Apple's gonna have problems, right? Because their iPhones are all made outside of the country, via China, via India, things like that. So they're gonna have problems getting their iPhones back into this country. So Apple's probably gonna be in a free fall. XRP the one. Apple's probably gonna be in a free fall. You're probably looking at You're probably looking at Tesla continuing to fall. Uh, you're probably looking at a lot of these companies. GM's probably going to continue to fall. And here, I think here in the United States, I think Ford's going to probably win the battle of the cars because they make a lot of their cars here, a lot of their car parts here in the United States. I think that they got a little bit more strength than Tesla and GM right now. GM imports a lot of their parts from Canada and other places like that. So Ford will probably win the battle of the price action when it comes to automobiles. The tech sector, I think NVIDIA is going to win because they got that exemption from the United States on the tariff, so they're not affected by the tariff. So I think NVIDIA will win that battle. And plus, with the big push on AI, they need NVIDIA chips. There's no way around that. NVIDIA wins that battle every single time. Because without them chips, you don't go anywhere, right? I think Intel, when it comes to technology, Intel in the United States is an underrated stock because the majority of their stuff is made here in the United States, and I think there'll be a ton of money pumped into NVIDIA to bring that price up because they do produce a lot here in the United States. As far as cryptos go, I think the United States cryptos will pump. The ones that are here in the United States, they will pump because they'll make sure that they pump. The government will make sure that they pump. So, I think that's where you want to be putting. That's where I'm putting my money. Right, I'm staying away from Apple. Amazon, I think it's going to continue to be a big, huge player over there on the stock market. Amazon has well positioned itself to be the world leader in a lot of different things, whether it be cloud storage, whether it be, selling of products, whether it be, just a bunch of different things. And actually, Amazon may actually be buying TikTok. So keep your eye on that. Very tough times for, it's a tough time for manufacturing today. I don't think that we're going to get the manufacturing uptick that everybody thinks that we're going to get immediately. Yeah, it is. Crypto's really following the same trend as the .com era, and you're going to see winners and losers, right? And that's what we've seen in the .com era. We've seen people coming out of the gates, and their market cap would explode, right? And then all of a sudden they wouldn't make it. And what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks is you're going to get these stablecoin bills, and then you're going to get regulation that follows that. Both are on the table right now and being pushed through the House. I mean, pushed through the Senate and into the House. What you're going to find out is some of these big projects aren't going to meet the regulation requirements. They're not going to meet the regulations. Some of them already don't meet the EU regulations, right? And some of these projects are not going to meet regulation, and you're going to see them fall. And I keep telling you guys that the top 100 will not be the same top 100 after the bull run, right? It happens every bull run. People will come up, they'll replace some of these top 100 coins with new ones, and it'll happen this time too. But the ones that fall will be the ones that don't meet the regulations. But I think you're safe to say, some of the big boys are going to, XRP is going to meet the regulations. That's going to meet it, right? Solana's going to meet it, right? Because they have a lot of venture capitalists in there, right? Cardano's going to meet it. They're going to meet it. Tron, a little questionable on whether or not what they feel about Tron and what they feel about Justin Sun, right? So we're going to see how Tron shakes out in this, right? And does that push that if it's considered non-compliant here in the United States, does this push this market cap down, right? Or do they have a strong enough backing outside of the United States to keep this market cap where it is, right? ToneCoin, I think, is a dead project. I don't see this one going. I don't see this one moving. I do think that this one's going to drop down the board. Chainlink, they're going to meet regulations. Stellar, they're going to meet regulations. Avalanche, they'll meet regulations. So when you look at that, Sway, I think, is going to meet regulations too. A lot of venture capitalists in there. HBAR already working with the government. They're going to probably meet regulations. Litecoin, it's nothing more than a fork of Bitcoin. It'll meet regulation. Polkadot, we'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see. You don't hear a lot of news out of Polkadot lately. So we'll see what they got going on. But you know, some of these blockchains aren't going to be here. You know, Hype. You guys know I love Hype. I love their platform, but untradeable here in the United States. Why? Because it probably doesn't meet regulations, right? Pi Network, developed here in the United States, will meet regulations. What they do with the Pi Network, who knows? But there's probably something brewing over there, right? We're just gonna have to wait and see. Aptos, big, huge venture capitalist here. Microsoft's involved. Everybody's involved. So you know, we're gonna see. But Pepe, we love Pepe. Pepe's gonna be just fine. But you know, a lot of these Chronos, they'll meet regulations. They meet regulations everywhere they go. Ondo will meet regulations because it's backed by BlackRock, and you don't fuck with BlackRock. So you know, we'll see. We'll see what's up. But definitely not. You know, regulations is coming. They're coming. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much what we got today, guys. Watch out for the recession, though. Let's see if anybody else. Put tariffs on us today, outside of China. It's coming. It's coming, guys. It's coming. TGIF, Big Watch Dude's in the building. Big Watch Dude is in the building. See, no, just China so far. I expect the EU nations to be next. I expect them to come back with a little something here. And expect Canada to come back with a little something. Expect the EU nations to come back with a little something. You know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I expect Japan to come back with a little something. And the key is, does then the administration retaliate with even higher tariffs, like on China and everybody who retaliates? And then we got ourselves in a situation where it's just instead of men and women fighting on a battlefield, we're just fighting through the stock market, which is never good. It's never good for people, right? It's never good for regular people like us, right? So, you know, it's not good. But you know, we'll see. We'll see if this market can hold on. I expect a weekend of I expect a weekend of sell off, really, to tell you the truth. I expect this market to come down a little bit further. You know, I think we'll get a little bit of pump this morning. I think we'll have that regular Friday sell off that we usually have. And then we'll probably end up going into Saturday with a sell off, a little bit of a down market, you know, because that's pretty normal for crypto, right? That's pretty normal. Saturday is usually a down day. Stock market's closed, you know, everything's closed, you know, as far as trading goes on Saturdays, and people are out doing stuff. So Saturday is usually a down day. Sunday around 7 or 8 o'clock, you're going to find out what the Asian markets want to do with crypto for that day, because that's when they start opening their trading. We'll see on Sunday night what that looks like, and then you know, that'll pretty much set the tone for the European markets waking up to trade, and then the United States markets waking up to trade. But I don't foresee us really starting to boom or really starting to come out of this anytime soon, because I think that the tariffs themselves are going to continue to come. They're going to continue to come from other countries, China just being the first, right? And the stock market has not priced all this in. You know what I'm saying? Like, they weren't prepared for the tariffs that were laid out, because them are not reciprocal. Them tariffs that were put out are not reciprocal tariffs, right? They're above reciprocal tariffs. I mean, you could put the numbers up there and say that these people will charge us this, and so we're only charging them half of this. But with a country like Canada, you know what I mean? Like, their whole country is the size of basically California, right? You can't expect them to buy as much American goods as, you know, as Americans buy from China, where, you know, I mean, That would be like saying that the state of California has to buy the exact amount of goods as a whole nation, as a whole country of the United States. I mean, that's not, that doesn't make sense. So that's not reciprocal, right? So what he did was not reciprocal. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense, and the market's priced in the fact that it didn't make sense, and it still doesn't make sense, right? So I expect, I expect a little bit more of a downside. I do expect a recession. You know, I expect a recession by the United States, and I expect a recession in other parts of the world as well. Make no doubt. I mean, the United States provides the country, provides the world with a lot of goods, right? So, you know, in the United States dollar, as that starts to plummet, which it has already, we talked about it this morning, as the United States dollar starts to plummet, other world currencies start to plummet as well. So I think we're in for a downturn here, and it's okay, because if you can hold on, like I said earlier, if you can hold on, the upside coming out of a recession, if it's short lived, is much high, usually much better coming out. And I think when we come out, we're going to see the great transfer of wealth. You're going to see blockchain get implemented through this downturn. You're going to see regulations start to come in through this downturn. You're going to see a lot of the things that we talked about in practice start to become reality. And when we come out of it, then we're really going to start to blow. But I still do think the second quarter of this year is going to be good. It's just going to take a little bit of time for the markets to price in what's going on. And they're having a hard time pricing in what's going on because every day it's something new. So, once the markets can price all this in, it will be just fine. Yeah, I think so too, Ken. By August, second quarter, we're going to be fine. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll start to pull out of this at the second half of at the back half of the second quarter. We'll start to pull out of this, but like the markets have to price in everything that comes its way, and when something new comes its way every day, it's got to price it in, and it's always going to price it into the negative at first, and then the once it prices it into the negative, people will start buying it up. Start to move up to the positive. So just give it time. Give it time. It's a situation that's not good, but you got to give it time and I'm buying into the fear. I tell you guys all the time, buy into the fear. When everybody else is running away, run towards it, because that's what big money does. And that's how big money continues to have big money. They don't buy the green candles, they buy the red candles. So believe in what you hold and buy into it. So with that, guys have a great weekend. Go touch some grass. Get outside, enjoy the weather, enjoy your family, enjoy what you've done, where you come from, enjoy everything, enjoy the seasons, just go enjoy life. And the markets are gonna do what the markets do, right? And there's nothing that you're going to do to change the markets, right? Thank you, Big Watch. Later, dog. Enjoy the weekend. Ken, later. And you enjoy the weekend too. And yeah, Pepe, baby, buying. Enjoy the weekend. There's nothing you're going to do to change the markets. Believe you me, the money that you put into Bitcoin, the money that you put into Ethereum, the money that you put into some of these blue chips, you're not going to move the price. So go buy what you need to buy, and dollar cost averaging, and then go enjoy the weekend. So, and the markets will do what the markets do, and the markets will turn around eventually. Just be in it. Don't get shaken out of your position. Just be in it. So with that, we're up out of here. Have a great weekend. See you guys on Monday morning. And go enjoy yourself. Peace.